Okay, so we have 6 weeks, right, between now and Black Friday. So we don't have a ton of time to figure out what we're doing, but that still means that there is 6 weeks, or let's say 5 weeks, to actually start to build some collaborations into the mix. So I guess the idea with this session today is to give you some ideas of the different types of collaborations you can be involved in and how they will help with your Black Friday sales. Okay, so if you have ever told yourself that this is the year that you're actually going to have a warm list before Black Friday, then this session is absolutely for you. I know me, and some years I'm really great and I have like my Black Friday planned out, and other years I don't have the Black Friday planned, but I have the promotional schedule planned in advance. So what that means is sometimes I will have something in place in order for me to build my list ahead of Black Friday. And then other times it's the other way around. I'll have Black Friday planned out, but no promotional kind of plans straight away. So this year I have the promotional plan, the collaboration, the strategy to build my list and nurture my list before Black Friday, but I don't actually have the offer planned out. You might be the opposite. You might have an offer planned for Black Friday, and now we need to reverse engineer from that and create some collaborations and some list growing activities from there. So, depending on where you're at with these two scenarios, you might need to retrofit your collaboration to your offer that you're selling in Black Friday, or you might need to plan your collaboration and then retrofit your offer to that. So, really, it's just the main thing that I'm wanting to convey here is it's really important that your offer for Black Friday really connects to the building, the nurturing, the list growth that you're working on through that time frame. These 6 weeks between now and Black Friday, we need to be calling in people that make sense for what your offer is in Black Friday. So we want to make sure that the collaboration is super aligned to what you're selling. Now that's obviously something that we do all the time with our promotional activities. We're not going to promote something and then sell something completely different at the end of the launch, but perhaps you haven't really thought about the way collaborations work in that way. This is part of your launch process. It is, instead of having like a launch event be your main kind of thing to get people into your offer, the collaboration is going to be the launch event. It's going to be the way you list grow. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're watching with me, if you have any ideas as I riff on them in a moment, let me know and we can chat about some options for you. The main thing is, because we're using collaborations for list growth, we're not going to need ads, we're not going to need a bunch of followers, and we're not going to need a team necessarily to execute all of this. The collaborations are going to be doing all the heavy lifting. It's going to be growing your list that way. So how I'm going to cover this session today is we're going to talk about the 3 different collaboration types that you might want to explore. There'll be a couple of extra ideas if those ones weren't resonating with you. I can't just leave you with 3, of course. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how those collaborations will nurture your audience and what you want to do to make sure that you have people joining your list that are going to be perfect for your offer in Black Friday. All right, let me know if there's any questions. Drop into the chat if there is. Otherwise, we're going to get going. All right, so first collab. I don't think you're going to be too surprised with this suggestion of mine, and that is to participate in a bundle or a summit. Now, this one might be a little bit close to the edge in terms of your ability to find something that is perfect for what you need within this time frame. Okay, so we do have 6 weeks before Black Friday, right? However, for you to land on a bundle or a summit, potentially it's something that's already been in the works, or maybe someone is like promoting getting some last minute participants or collaborators or speakers in a summit that just works perfectly. And maybe you can like do some little bit of outreach on some events that are like in that last stage that maybe they just want a few more people to be involved in, because we know that people tend to plan these events months in advance, and we're now getting them in that last little window of time, and we want to be doing a bundle or a summit anytime up to like the 18th of November. After that, it might be a little bit too late. It's going to start to flow into the event of Black Friday, the whole like big event that's going on. So this year, let me just look at my calendar so we can make sure we're on the same timeline wise. This year, Black Friday is on the 28th of November. So that seems like a long time away, but it goes quickly, right? Now, for me, I actually have a collaboration right now that goes until the end of October. And then we'll have another summit that I'll be promoting and launching, which will happen from the 18th to the 20th of November. That may be just a little bit too close to Black Friday. We will see, but it's one of those ones that I really wanted to do, and we had to find a time that made sense and worked. If anything, I would look for collaborations to like bundles and summits to be involved in up to the week of the 10th of November. Okay. Anything after that might be a little bit too close to the time that we're wanting to get into the nurture stage of the promotional period and so on. Okay, have a look in my Facebook group, Bundles of Bundles, just to see if there's any events that are happening soon in that timeline that I was talking about. There are a bunch of other groups as well popping up now, lots of collaboration spaces over on Facebook. So if you need some more places to find, let me know and I will be sure to drop them in the comments below this video as well. So as I said before, we want to have a freebie, have a bundle offer that directly leads into your Black Friday theme. And with this process, we're going to not just get subscribers, but you're going to gain authority. The really cool thing with bundles and summits is you're borrowing your host's authority, you're borrowing their trust with their audience, and you're going to find it a lot easier to connect with the bundle or the summit participants when you have that really great connection with the host. For me, what that looks like with a recent event that I was in was a summit on school for AI. And I have a freebie that has been doing quite well by itself, but with this particular summit, it just blew up because of the way I was communicating within the summit community, the way I was like elevating myself, but also celebrating and lifting up other people in addition to the host as well. And if there's a community connected, like this is probably more of a summit thing rather than a bundle thing, but you never know. If there's a community connected with the summit or the bundle, be sure to elevate, amplify your host and really be a really cool like collaborator who gets along with everyone and has really great ideas and really come from a place of being really giving and supportive. And the reason this works really well is not only will you get more signups for your freebie because people will like see your name in the freebie home, the place where they've collected all of that, they're going to see your name, connect the dots and go, oh, okay, yep, really liked what Brie was saying here. I'm going to check this freebie out. But it's also going to work in your favor down the track when you start emailing people, because what happens in your inbox, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself with like the nurture side of things, but when people go through like their inbox each day to scan and see what they're going to open and what they're going to delete or unsubscribe from, they're going to see names first and then subject line. So we pay a lot of attention to subject lines, right? When we're like cultivating our emails and everything. But the biggest thing is the name first. Do I know this name? And if I do I like enjoy their emails? Okay, cool. If I do, then I'm going to go, what's the subject line? Oh, that sounds interesting. I'm going to open that email. But it always comes down to the name of the sender. That is like the most important thing. And so if you already have some resonance, some connection with people through a summit or a bundle that you've been in and like they've watched your presentation, enjoyed what you said, seen you in the community, maybe they've opened up your bundle offer and you had such a great nurture sequence with that they really connected with you and your offer, then you're going to stand out in their inbox. And this is the biggest part with Black Friday is there's so many emails going out and we need to stand out, right? So this is one really big way to stand out in the inbox, but also get more leads. Bundles, summits. So that's collaboration number one. Tell me what you think about that one. Is that something you're going to be doing? Janae's already said that she is. Is there anyone else here that is definitely down for doing that and or have something in the works already? Let me know. Beautiful. Okay. Number 2. So let's say you've done a few collaborations, you've been a participant, and now you're ready to actually host something yourself. So we're probably not going to have enough time to host a bundle or a summit, right? There's at least 3 months planning and preparation that goes into that. Even when you have done these a few times, we want to look at different types of collaborations that are a little bit more fast, a little bit like smaller in terms of the workload that's involved and things that happen more like asynchronously and more the workload is distributed amongst a bunch of people. Okay, so let's call this one Host a Quick Collab. And there's a couple ideas under this banner. Some things that you could do is like having an interview series. So this could be written or recorded, like video or audio. You have a blog roundup where a bunch of people come together on a particular concept or topic, and we all write like blogs, and you could do this on Substack or on individual websites. And you have this kind of like pop-up blog series, right? And each person in the collaboration promotes each other. And then we could do something like a podcast mini series. This could be a private podcast or a public podcast, and you go out and interview people, or as a collective, you come together and interview each other, and it goes around in circles. Things like that would be really great to. Why it works is because you stay in control and you're borrowing other people's audience at the same time. So you're in control with the idea, you're the host or the co-host, and you get to control the situation. You get the leads direct. Whereas a bundle or a summit, when you're participating, you're relying on the host's ability to create an amazing event and your ability to be seen and heard and be quite visible in that space. So this way you stay front and center, and you're going to be not only connecting with your own audience, but other audiences as well. You could do this with 3 to 5 friends, peers, and it be like a short themed series. So let's say we're quite meta here and we're doing something around Black Friday. So you could do holiday prep power chats where you get on like a Zoom call and just like riff with each other and then record that and then drop that into a podcast. You could do the same thing and take the transcripts and put it into a ChatGPT and have that generate a blog for you. Lots of different ideas like that. Maybe someone you could come up with the interview questions or the topic questions, and you're just typing up your answers and producing that as the collab offer, right? Main thing is we want to have something that people want to opt into, get excited about, and then as a collective, the group shares the leads. The host maybe hosts it on the platform and then they share the leads around. That's one way of doing it. Or each person has a blog post and a freebie kind of connected to that, and it goes around in this little bit of a round circle kind of thing. Read this one after you have read this post. Read Bree's post about Black Friday. Like you can do list sharing that way, or you could connect with other people's collaboration content. So the idea is that each guest promotes, and then it just becomes this like multiplied reach. The amount of people that you have involved just amplifies each person's ability to reach each other. So you want to find friends, peers that have a similar size audience to you in this instance, because it needs to feel equal and balanced in terms of the sharing of each other's information or audiences. If you have 1,000 and someone has 50, that's going to feel really out of balance, because the person with 50, the tide's going to rise for them, but the other person's not getting as many leads from that 50. And yes, there is this idea that people with smaller lists get more engagement, but we're still looking at like maybe 25 people versus, I don't know, like 100 people kind of thing. So that could be just something to consider and leave up to you to, I guess, decide what feels good for you. But that would be my kind of main little bit of a tip around that. Make it really easy to set up. You could do a YouTube series, you could do the Zoom recording, like I said, and then take the transcript and repurpose that. You can have one shared opt-in page if that feels easy, and then on there a little disclaimer: when you sign up for this, you're being added to this person's email list. Have a little terms and conditions document that explains how it all works, just to cover everyone's butts. And yeah, and then you can kind of do it that way. Or, as I said, have each individual person post a blog on their platform and then tag or reference, read this article to finish the story. Like, it's almost, you could have it be like that, where it's that game where people start writing a story and then you hand a piece of paper to the next person, they finish this, like they add a next section of the story and then they finish it. That could be one way of doing it. Or it could just be as simple as, having a backlink basically to someone else's blog and offer and things like that. You could potentially then take this and make it more evergreen and have it become part of a big and ongoing freebie for future lead capture. It could, if it's on your blog, then it's just going to be part of your SEO strategy as well. So that's one really cool one. Let me know if that's of interest. Doing a little quick collab if this has sparked some ideas for you. I'm happy to riff on that and chat about that here or in the community as well in my Woopreneur Society. All right, and then we're going to move on to collab number 3, which is actually an easy one, much easier than the others. However, depending on the situation, the type of people you're partnering with will be a small amount of growth or a really large amount of growth. It totally depends on what decisions you make. And so this number 3 is a freebie swap or sponsored spot. So freebie swap, sponsored spot is basically accessing someone else's newsletter, accessing someone's direct email like audience, and you're having your offer presented in a way that talks directly to their audience. So this, as a sponsored spot, this could be a little section in an email where your offer, freebie or otherwise, is presented upfront to their email list, and then it goes on to the rest of the kind of content of the email. Likewise, a freebie swap does the same sort of thing. It could be a featured part of an email, or it could be a full email about your offer. Same with a sponsored spot. It could actually be a full sponsored email. So I don't do freebie swaps so much unless they're connected with other collaborations that I'm doing. So for right now, I am emailing my audience, or a segment of my audience, I should say, a daily trick and treat. And as part of that, my collaborators with my giveaway, so I'm doing a quantum identity giveaway, which is grand prize. One person wins like $5,000 worth of individual offers from 20 or 21, including me, different coaches, healers, creators, and then so one person wins that. And I'm featuring each of my collaborators in the daily emails. So that's like a version of a freebie swap. And if you're curious of how they could look like, and then other people might also send out an email on your behalf. So the idea with a freebie swap is you're doing an email for your audience and someone else is emailing their audience on your behalf. So you're literally swapping email lists, right? And that can work really well, again, if we have a similar list size. We want to make sure that feels even and equal and balanced, so there's no murky energy around that. Whereas a sponsored spot is you paying to be in front of someone else's audience. And I sell these myself. If you want to buy one, I'm going to drop the link below. I have a $25 offer. Normally it's $55, so it fluctuates. We have flash sales every now and then where you can have a sponsored spot for $25 in my email. And I also do some in my Facebook group, $25. So as I said, most of the time it's a $55 product that I sell. So depending on when you're seeing the link, you will be able to maybe get a flash sale price, or it'll be the regular price. And essentially, I send out an email to my 3,000 people on my email list with the advert up the top for the sponsored spot, and then the rest of my content below that. And they work really well. We get some really decent click-throughs, and people can also pay for a full email. They pay $250, and and they get access to my entire email, and I profile them. They send through the information, the image, the whatever, and I send out an email for them. So there's things like that. If I'm doing them, there are a bunch of other people that I know that have these regularly. And some people do them as like a flash sale, as an offer every now and then to inject some different flavor into their business. So keep your eye out for that with people that you know, respect, and make sure that their audience is obviously aligned with what you're wanting to achieve as well. So yeah, freebie swapping lead magnets with someone else. You each promote each other's thing or pay to be in someone else's email, newsletter, whatever. That's really good. We're running out of time and you don't have the connections yet to do a freebie swap. And yeah, just getting a little bit like of a boost. It's I do these instead of Facebook ads. It's like a little bit of a boost, and yeah, and then you just see how they go, because you can get some from $25 to $70. There's different price points for just like small little chunk, like the small daily ones. Those are the sort of like generally what I've seen out there, and then it could be a few $100s for the main emails. Main thing is that you focus on the audience connection, as in whether the person that you're partnering with, the person that's going to send out the email, has an audience where you have that crossover. So for me, I'm going to want to find people that have an audience who's already like in the woo space, that already has some excitement around doing Akashic readings and hypnosis, EFT, like they already have that experience in that space, and it's not pushing something to an audience that's not ready for it. So keeping that in mind, and really cool thing to do is to set up a UTM link or an affiliate link if you want for the offer, so you can then track where people are coming from, and then you can also maybe even set up a special system where you can tag subscribers as well for that particular campaign, and then you can sort of send some specific emails just to them as well. That's a different way to do things. So those are the three main ones. What do we think? How do we see ourselves doing any of those? I think probably the lowest lift one is a freebie swap and sponsored spot. But if you, want to do something a bit more creative, like a collab, then maybe a pop-up mini series would be really cool. Love to know what you're thinking. So a couple more ideas for you. You could do some mini giveaways where you have 3 to 5 contributors come together with one particular offer, one as like a prize. As I said before, I have my giveaway that I'm running for the next couple of weeks, and there's 21 people. Whereas you could do something a little bit smaller and maybe have a bit more, like you could actually have the value be quite large if you get the right people, and just be something really fun to kind of play with last minute. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it can just be like your business buds that come together and do it together, and see how it goes thing. Another one that's really fun is a joint live or roundtable discussion. So having a group of people, again, it could be your friends, your business buddies, or some peers, some people that you connect with. I've seen this done recently a few times with a mastermind group. They're kind of like a peer mastermind, and they have been hosting roundtables like every couple of weeks or so. And they've been really interesting to hear the conversations, the different perspectives. And I think that's really an underutilized option here, especially if you have your besties that have differing options or ideas that you can explore. For example, I could put together a Black Friday prep hour where, a bunch of my friends come together and we all talk about the different ways we're going to be prepping our email list for Black Friday. And we each invite our email list to join us live or opt in for the freebie and to listen to it later as a replay. And then it's a really easy thing to do and really fun for you because you're just chatting with your mates. That's one. Another one is the collab challenge or sprint. So you could co-host a 3-day micro challenge, for example a Black Friday warm-up challenge with 1 to 3 collaborators, again peers, friends, people that you already have a really easy connection with, and each person hosts a topic for the day. So we have 3 days potentially, and then you have each person presents the concept that then is a layered approach to the challenge. So I would present on the different types of collaborations that might warm up your audience around Black Friday, and then someone else might talk about ads that you could run in the lead up to Black Friday, and then someone else could talk about how to nurture their email list ahead of Black Friday. And so you can see that Each concept gives the attendees a way to interact with the host or the co-hosts and to learn something different or different layered options for them to explore. And then again, you would have one opt-in page and then you share the email list accordingly. And as I said before, making sure you have a tick box. I agree that so-and-so is going to be sharing my email with this other person, having terms and conditions, like all of the stuff, the privacy and all of the things you need to in that process. And then it's easy done. So that's a really cool one and actually probably something that I think I would love to do, but I don't have enough time for that. So if someone else has an idea to host something and they want me to join as a collaborator, please let me know. All right. And then you could also do like a holiday themed bundle or flash drop. So a couple of people come together, similar to the giveaway idea, but this is actually maybe a paid or a free option where people actually purchase like a couple of offers that have been bundled together, similar to what we do with the mega bundles that we see all the time, but like just a couple of people, and it solves one really micro problem or challenge that someone's having. Each person contributes one digital product of some description, and then you each promote it accordingly. So how do we like that? Any ideas come out of that? We're like, yes, that'd be really fun to do. Then let me know below. So we're talking about nurturing your audience, which we need to do, right? We've just added a bunch of new subscribers from doing one of these collaborations. But as I said earlier, if they don't know who you are, if they don't recognize your name, they're not going to open the email, they're not going to click through, and they're not going to buy from you. I really need to build up that connection with them, and doing that over the course of the next 6 weeks is going to really make a big difference to the end of the day when you get to your Black Friday sale, okay? So here's some ideas for you. So we want to maybe look at your welcome sequence and how you nurture people as soon as they land in your inbox or your offer. Maybe there's some refreshing that needs to happen to that series, and perhaps there could be some adjustments you make to it just to add some hints to what's coming for Black Friday as well. Maybe there's potential to take your existing sequence and then amplify it a little bit and connect it to what your offer is in Black Friday so that people are prepared and ready for it coming up soon. So you can really take this opportunity to reintroduce yourself as well, how you help and what makes you unique and your approach really unique. That's the biggest part of what a welcome sequence is, so that we can get people opening those emails and remembering your name and going, yeah, I really liked Bree's email about XYZ. I'm going to open this one as well because I think she's got some cool stuff to say. Now, next one is some pre-sale warm-up content. So we want to send a couple of emails each week where they're just really small, bite-sized, quick wins, some stories, some behind the scenes. This is sort of stuff that we probably should be doing anyway, but if you're not already, let's bring that into your strategy for this next period of time. Again, this is about helping people feel connected with you before you even mention you're selling them anything, before you even mention there's a discount coming. Here's some really cool things you could do really quickly to amplify your results with blah, 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 blah. Okay, so give them some quick wins and that will help them open up the next email that you send them, right? You could do a VIP or early access list. So setting up a bit of a wait list for your offer that's coming. So letting those new subscribers opt in for that wait list for early access. So let's say you're going to do your regular Black Friday sale, but perhaps the people that join the VIP list or the wait list get early access. They get either a bonus for jumping in first, or they actually get the Black Friday sale earlier than everyone else. That would be really cool. And then you've got a really hot segment of buyers who are ready to spend with you. You can look at your re-engagement rituals, do things like polls in your emails. You can do hand raiser emails. If you're unfamiliar with the hand raiser concept, I'm going to drop information below as well about my subtle sales mastery, which goes over the whole process. And I definitely recommend you upgrade to the GPT because it gives you the whole process and writes the emails for you. So basically, you can do different email techniques throughout this time as well. Maybe some choose your own adventure emails where you're like if you click here, you're going to get this collection of emails. If you click here, you're going to get this collection of emails, and play with that as something you could do. Or even just asking ideas like how they'd like to do something. What do they want to try? What do they want to play with? Being really playful in the way that you communicate with people. Getting people to reply, getting them to click links is all going to help with your deliverability and getting things really ready to go when Black Friday rolls around. And it keeps the energy two-way. So you're having engaged conversations with your audience, and it's not just you projecting information and putting it in their faces. They're actually having a conversation with you, and you're getting the benefit of having a conversation back with you as well, and using it for research, all of the cool things. So those would be my key things to consider doing as you're getting into the stage of, all right, so I've got those people on my email list, the collaboration's worked, now what do I do? So that would be it. Remembering you're not just collecting names, you're building resonance with people, you're connecting with individual people. I know I've said a few times, audience, list, all of that sort of thing. But remember, each person is like a real person at the end of the day on your email list. Some of them and you have connected with the DMs, or they've already bought your products and you know them. And then there's all these other people that are like silent lurkers who are just waiting for that opportunity for you to connect with them at a point where they're just like, yes, that's so perfect. That's exactly what I need. And so we're just building and remembering at the end of the day, there's real people at the end of the email on the other side. And yeah, we just want to build that trust and get the generosity kind of bucket filled so that when the time comes around, you're ready to sell them that Black Friday offer. They're like, oh my gosh, Bree gave me so much help and information and whatever it is in these last few weeks. Of course, like it makes sense that I want to take the next step with her because she's given me so much already. There's this need to balance that reciprocity. Gosh, I can't say the word today, and get that kind of back in balance. So just keep that in mind that we're really building in order to connect with the sale at the end of. All right, let's wrap it up. As I said before, the 3 different things you can try, bundles or summits, participating rather than hosting. We have our micro collabs or swap, doing like freebie swaps and stuff like that. And we have sponsored spots that you could do as well. And then, of course, we just talked about the nurturing your email and creating a bit of a sequence involved and, yeah, connecting with people in that way. Main thing is that we still have plenty of time. I know that I've talked about a lot of different things here, and you're probably thinking, okay, so I want to do a collaboration, but I also need to get my nurture sequence sorted. I need to figure out what my Black Friday is happening, like what's going on. It feels like there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot of things we need to do, but just take it one thing at a time. As I said before, we've got 6 weeks, so figure out how we can get everything sorted in each week so that you're at the end of the month in November and everything's gone to plan, because you've mapped everything out in a structured way. So know that you've got enough time to get it done, and be sure to pick the collaboration that allows you the bandwidth, the space. It draws from your own capacity to be able to execute it. If you know that like hosting your own thing is going to be way too big for you, then just look for the bundles and the summits that you can already be a part of, or perhaps go into a freebie swap conversation with someone and do that. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but we just want to be adding some more fresh people to your email list ahead of the sales coming up. So I'd love to know, which one would you try first? Let me know in the comments or the chat, and yeah, jump into the Wordpreneur Society so that we can have a continuation of this conversation, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. There's a bunch of offers that I mentioned throughout this conversation, but if there's any sort of specific support that I can help with, let me know. I do have my magnetic expansion sessions, which are a 1-to-1 30-minute free conversation where we work out what's blocking you and what you need. I'll be sure to link that as well below once this video is up. All right, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will chat with you another time. I'll see you next week probably. All right, see you later.